This is Brian of Trifonic, and today I'm going to be talking about some bass sounds and assigning some filter modulation to add movement to the bass line. And I'm going to be working with the free bass patch that you can download if you sign up to our mailing list at nextstepaudio.com. It's for EXS24 and Contact 3 and above. I'm going to be talking about EXS24, but the modulation routing should also work in Contact. So first I'll show you just the example I made. I have a few instances of this bass patch and Ultra Beat, just playing a beat to keep time. It's just a preset in there. I didn't do any programming to it. It's just mainly to keep the time, so here it is. So nothing too crazy, just you know, it's got a cool, some cool filter movement in it, and it's broken into a few layers, and I'll talk about that more in a bit, why I did that. But first I'll just show you the patch that you download from our mailing list. So if I pull that up here, here it is, and it's the default setting, like the way that I programmed it, so that when you open it up, this is what it looks like, and here's what it sounds like if I play a few notes. So, kind of stereotypical Alex Reese style bass sound, you know, and basically what this sound was constructed from is I made a patch in Absinthe, which maybe in a future video I can show, that's more or less different saw waves that are detuned, so on the 3 different oscillators that you have in Absinthe, and then run through wave shapers, which is basically distortion. And to give it movement, so when I hold out these notes, you can hear that there's a little bit of, kind of sounds like phaser happening. So you can hear movement in there. That's a part of it. Is there's some modulation on an all-pass filter, so the phase is adjusting. There's a few things happening that are going on in EXS24 that's making it sound the way it is. So if I turn off the filter section for a moment, so I'm going to click this on button here, which is actually going to turn it off, and I'm going to disengage unison mode, which is basically it's playing multiple voices for each note I play. So right now it's playing 4 voices for every key that I hit, so I'm going to turn off unison. So it's a little bit thinner of a sound, a little less focused. So I'm going to turn back unison, turn back on the filter, and the filter that I have enabled right now is a 6 dB per octave low-pass filter. That means basically it's cutting out the high frequencies, and it's a pretty gentle slope. And again, here's what that sounds like. So, you know, it's an okay sound just as it is, but it's it'd be nice to add a little filter movement to it and get some wobble happening. The place to start with any kind of wobbly sound or is usually to assign an LFO to the filter cutoff. So I can do that here in the modulation matrix of EXS24. So what I'm going to do is assign my destination. So that's the thing that's going to be modulated. So in this case, it's filter cutoff. I'm going to set that to filter cutoff. And then my source, that's going to be what's modulating my destination. So I'm going to have an LFO that's going to modulate the filter cutoff. And an LFO is basically, it's just an oscillator, but instead of it generating an audible sound, it's generating a low frequency signal that's a control signal. So I'm going to assign LFO2 to filter cutoff. And then I've got this little triangle here, which is going to be the intensity, so the amount of the LFO modulating filter cutoff. So I'm going to set this somewhere in the middle, maybe like, you know, 55% or so. And then the next step is to set the speed that I want. So when I move this dial to the left here, it's going to be in increments, division of the beats, so it's going to follow my tempo, which can be kind of nice. So I'm going to set this to quarter notes. Let's hear what this sounds like so far. So it's kind of a gentle low pass filter that's happening every chord note. So that's cool, but this is pretty, this is pretty boring just as a wobble sound. Or I mean, it sounds okay if I play a few different notes in there, but I'd really like to get more movement in there. The way that you can do that and generate sort of a more complex pattern is to have a second order modulation. So that means that I'm going to have something else that's modulating LFO2's speed. So basically, instead of it just being a constant chord note, I'm going to have another LFO that's moving this rate so that this is speeding up and slowing down. So what I'm going to do is set the destination to LFO2 speed, and my source, so the thing that's going to modulate that, is going to be LFO3. And what I'm going to do is set LFO3 to be one measure, and I'm going to set its intensity, so the intensity of the modulation, up to its full amount, so 200%. And that's going to create sort of an interesting pattern. So the filter's a bit open, so I think I'm going to close this a little bit more and then see what this sounds like. So that's a little bit tighter. I like that. And what I could also do is experiment with different slopes on the cutoff. So on these low pass filters here, I could do a steeper slope, like 12 decibels per octave, or I believe it's 18 and 24. So if I do that, you can hear that it's much more filtered down. It's more extreme. But I do like how the 6 dB per octave, I can still hear some of the high frequencies coming through. I think that works well.